has to do that. We also need leadership from her. Oh, that is going to be a foul on Jewel Lloyd, and they're going to take a look at that.
Yeah, that might be upgraded. See, Jewel, as she was fighting over, I think felt that she got hit, but then she just went right in. You'll have a chance to see it on this replay.
Minimum, it'll be a personal foul on Jewel Lloyd, but could be more.
So, did the Fever actually lose Game 5, or were they just completely robbed by the refs? Seriously, think about what happened. Aaliyah Boston fouls out late on what looked like a perfectly clean rebound. Then Kelsey Mitchell gets hammered all night, ends up cramping so bad she's in the hospital. Odyssey Sims gets clipped but still drops 27 points. But the whistle, it just kept leaning Vegas's way. If you think that game was fair, you probably weren't paying attention. This wasn't a loss. They battled through chaos, injuries, and bad calls, only to have the whole series stolen from them. What's crazy is that theft. That's the story everyone's talking about. We want to know what you think about the refs this series down in the comments.
We feel like this game, between the adversity but also the resilience, was just like a microcosm of this whole season. And did that, in a way, like, you're like, oh, we've been here before.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Steph said in the huddle. Like, we're built for this moment. When Kelsey went down, and then we're challenging the call on AB. We've been here before, so it's just so unlucky. So crazy that had to happen tonight.
Look, what if the Fever's biggest opponent wasn't even the two-time champs, but the refs? Honestly, that's how the whole series started to feel. From Game 1, there was this pattern fans just couldn't ignore. Every time Indiana started to make a run, it felt like the game flow just got broken up by calls that would shift possession right back to Vegas. Remember Aaliyah Boston getting those touch fouls? The kind of stuff NFL quarterbacks would just laugh off. Meanwhile, Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull were battling through defenders practically draped all over them. But the whistles? Crickets. By the end of the first 3 games, the Fever were totally frustrated, not with how they were playing, but with the officiating. These weren't just random mistakes, either. By Game 3, the imbalance was super obvious. The free throw numbers were heavily skewed towards the aces. That's not just easy points, it totally changes the energy. It's so hard to keep defensive momentum when you can't get a stop without getting a foul called against you. But on the flip side, Indiana was playing through tackles at the rim without getting the same calls. Even Coach Stephanie White said the inconsistency made it almost impossible to plan. How can you strategize when a screen is illegal one trip, then totally ignored the next?
The ball goes up. Aaliyah Boston.
I don't think that's a foul.
To Indiana, and a late loose ball foul is called against.
Are you joking me?
And fans totally noticed all this, right? Even media voices started calling it out. Some people said it was bias. Others hinted at special treatment for the Aces stars. And honestly, the more the numbers stacked up, all those free throws, all those missed calls, the more believable it started to look. This wasn't random stuff. This was a clear trend. And it was threatening competitive balance in every single game. By the time Game 4 ended, there was no way anyone could just call it a coincidence. The Fever weren't just playing against Las Vegas. They were battling a whistle that just kept pushing them back. And if those first 4 games were frustrating, then Game 5, that's when everything just exploded.
That shit was rigged. Like, the Indiana Fever fought so hard, but like, they literally had 8 injured players. They had 8 injured players, and Aaliyah Boston fouled out for phantom fouls. And they still got to overtime. Like, you can't deny that. Like, you can't, like, the Indiana, they did everything in their power to try to rig that game in regulation. And Indiana just didn't go away.
Seriously, imagine fighting for your entire season, but every single foul call just feels like it's already written against you. That was Game 5 for the Indiana Fever. This wasn't just about the X's and O's anymore. It was about trying to dodge phantom whistles and just survive when every little bit of momentum kept getting funneled right back to the Las Vegas Aces. And despite everything, Kelsey Mitchell getting carried off, Aaliyah Boston sitting with foul trouble, Indiana just refused to quit. They clawed, they pushed, and they almost owned off the impossible, even forcing overtime. But you just can't play 5-on-8 forever. Early in the second half, Boston got hit with one of the softest moving screen calls you'll ever see. Go watch it back. She barely even touched the defender, but the whistle came anyway. Like the refs couldn't wait to give her another foul, and then minutes later, Megan Gustafson took a dive that LeBron would be proud of, and sure enough, the refs rewarded her with an offensive foul on Boston.
Boston, do this. Just back her way down. Typically, players do not go down when she makes that contact here. Gustafson goes, gets the foul called.
That whole sequence was infuriating enough. But then the real knockout punch came in crunch time. Boston was battling Jackie Young for a rebound with only 26 seconds left, and boom, she gets whistled for her sixth and final foul. She was done. The Fever challenged the call, totally desperate for someone to see what literally everyone else saw. It was just two players fighting for position. But nope, the call stood. And get this, Jackie Young sank those free throws that put Vegas ahead, leaving Indiana to finish regulation without their all-star center.
The ball goes up. Aaliyah Boston.
I don't think that's a foul.
And Kelsey Mitchell? She didn't even get the chance to help in those final minutes. She had been absolutely pummeled all night with super physical defense, arms draped on her, hips checked on drives, and guess what? No whistles. Her body finally just gave out midway through the third quarter. After she knocked down a three, she grabbed her leg and had to be helped off the court with muscle cramps. She already had 15 points, still the anchor of their offense, but the only response she got from Vegas defenders was more bumps, more hacks, and zero accountability from the refs. On top of that, other ugly moments just kept piling up. Jewel Lloyd shoved Lexi Hull so hard that everyone expected a flagrant review.
Nothing.
This is some bull crap. They're going to just shove Lexi Hull and then say that's a common foul. Like, this is not unnecessary force. Are you kidding me? If this how this game's going to go, like, I'm sick just watching Lexi Hull get beat up.
Then there's Natasha Howard, who got raked across the face. And again, silence. Odyssey Sims just absorbed contact all night long, even getting clipped on a drive in overtime. And somehow, she ended up being treated like the one starting it. And what's more, the official numbers tell the exact same story. The Fever got called for 25 fouls. Vegas, on the other hand, basically lived at the free throw line.
Three things I didn't like. Look at that. Smacked her arm and her entire body. Honestly, could have been a flagrant foul. Look at this. And she's going to scream like she got all ball, like she's so excited. Like, anybody could go through somebody's entire body and get a block shot. Like, you should be seeing if she's okay. Gosh dang. And then, why do they hit Howard in the face, but they don't review these and give him technicals like they do on the Fever? And then we all saw that one. They called that a basketball play. Bullcrap.
Edja Wilson alone went to the free throw line 10 times. Meanwhile, Boston, fighting under the rim every single possession, only got 2 trips. You don't even need a fancy stat sheet to see how unbalanced that is. But here's the thing. Indiana still refused to quit. They were down players, down on calls, down their leader in the middle, yet they battled, right until Odyssey Sims just exploded for 27 points, carrying them back to a tie at the end of regulation. The game went to overtime, not because the whistle suddenly gave them a break, but because they simply refused to hand the aces that win. It wasn't just resilience, it was pure defiance, and that defiance really defined the Fever way more than the scoreboard ever could. What's crazy is, what truly makes this group special isn't just how they put up with all that craziness, it's the fire every single player brought to that entire run.
Sims, the push.
Sometimes the most inspiring wins aren't even the ones on the scoreboard. They're in the hearts and effort those players leave out on the floor. Game 5 was supposed to be about just surviving, right? But what it actually turned into was this amazing showcase of players who just refused to let all those bad calls define them. Their sheer effort, their toughness, and how they stuck together, that created a story way bigger than any score could ever show.
For fire. She's our battery. She's moving great, and she will drive us, and that's been true so far.
Thank you, Hull. Sims, pull-up jumper, she got it.
Now, let's talk about Odyssey Sims. This is a player who wasn't even on the roster for most of the year, right? She was signed late on a hardship contract, and suddenly, she became the absolute heartbeat of the series. In Game 5, she just poured in 27 points, dished out 6 assists, and shot 50% from the field. She totally carried Indiana whenever their offense got stuck, blowing past defenders who couldn't stay in front of her and finishing strong through contact that the officials never ever rewarded her for. That late layup in regulation, it tied the game and sent everyone into overtime, making us all believe that maybe, just maybe, the whistle wouldn't decide it after all. Sims wasn't just playing well, she completely embodied that grit and fearlessness that gave the Fever life in their toughest moments.
Physicality to finish over smaller defenders.
Howard turns the corner, whips a pass. Hull gives it up. Sims connects on a 3. Odyssey Sims now with 12 points.
Kelsey Mitchell's night, man, that reminded everyone why she's one of the most dynamic guards in the league. Before her body totally gave out in the middle of the third quarter, she was just flat out unstoppable. She had 15 points, went 3 for 3 from deep, and had this presence that Vegas just couldn't figure out. She came into that semifinal as the offensive leader, and even though defenders were just pounding her on every cut and drive, she never, ever backed down.
Can't hit the mid-range. Mitchell pursues the board. Another chance for Indiana. That's been a theme in the early going. Mitchell a 3 is good. More second chance point.
Right around the rim.
Mitchell an open look. She got it from 3.
And then seeing her collapse with those lower body cramps after fighting through so much contact all night, that was heartbreaking to watch. But you know what? Even that detail somehow perfectly fit the story of this team. Mitchell just gave every single ounce she had until her body physically forced her out of the game. For Fever fans, her injury honestly just amplified how proud they were of her fight.
And back in a zone, that twofold.
Mitch.
Then there was Aaliyah Boston, who once again just carried the front court in ways the box score never truly shows. Even with her limited minutes because of all those foul calls, she still scored, rebounded, and kept demanding the ball inside. She lived under constant pressure, wrestling for position on almost every single possession.
15. Lob it in. Boston. So effective in Game 4. Trying to work Wilson. On the follow, it's 3. Around and off. Howard trying to tip it. Able to scrape it away. Another extra possession for Indiana. Mitchell, that space didn't take. Boston lays it in.
Boston still made her presence felt, both scoring in the paint and anchoring that defense, until the referees just sent her off with that brutal 6th foul in the closing moments. That moment totally summed up everything, right? She was dominating physically, outworking everyone, and then their chance just got ripped away by a phantom call.
Here's Sims. Weaving. Hull dishing. Boston lays it in.
Lexi Hull gave the kind of performance that you remember long after the game is over. She played through a back injury that most players would have definitely sat out with, but she still put up 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. Her defense was just everywhere, flying into passing lanes, diving for deflections, and cutting off drives.
Defense!
Lob it in. Howard. Out to Hull. 6 to shoot. Hull banks it in.
But it wasn't just about her stat line. After the game, Hull really stepped up as one of the strongest voices demanding accountability in the league. Both her actions on the court and her willingness to speak up after everything showed exactly why Indiana fans are ready to rally behind her every single season. She wasn't just playing injured, she was totally pledging herself to the team and to the game. So, what did Lexi really say about that heartbreaking loss?
I mean, I think that's something we can take away from this season. Obviously, ending on a loss is hard and not what you want, but I do think that we can be proud of the effort we put out there, especially in the fourth quarter, you know, losing Aaliyah, losing Kelsey. I don't even know if that was the third or fourth quarter. But two of our biggest stars go down and we continue to fight and send it to overtime. So I think that's, we're proud of ourselves. We're proud of that fight. And it's just sad to see this group.
And then there's Shea Petty, who is another quiet hero in all this. She put up 13 points, including 3 big ones from deep, right when the Fever desperately needed someone to step up after Mitchell had to leave. Her ability to stretch the floor really kept Indiana alive, forcing the Aces to defend honestly and giving Sims the space she needed to shine. Those minutes really matter. Without Petty's confidence to take those shots, Vegas would have just buried Indiana under another one of those whistle-driven runs.
And one Las Vegas run. They have their largest lead of the quarter. Boston finds Turner. Turner didn't want to shoot it. Petty will, and knock it down. The stats have not been gaudy, but the decision-making has been excellent tonight from Greg.
Yes.
Petty, they need it. They've got it. Timeout.
The thing is, this isn't an ending, it's a launch point. Caitlin Clark comes back next season. Boston is going to get even stronger from this whole experience. Mitchell, Hull, and Cunningham, they represent the guts and fight needed to build a true powerhouse. What Fever fans saw wasn't just one playoff run stolen in the semifinals. No, it was the building blocks of a dynasty waiting to happen. And that's exactly why any anger over what the league seemingly took away immediately turns into pure belief in what this team is about to become. What if the most important part of this story isn't how it ended, but what it started? While the Las Vegas Aces are moving on to celebrate another finals appearance, the Indiana Fever are walking away with something way more valuable. They've got proof they've officially arrived as a real threat in this league. This was a 6th seed that nobody expected to even be here, and they just pushed the Las Vegas Aces to overtime in a deciding Game 5, even while battling the kind of adversity that would have broken most teams.
Hey, it's sad. I think, especially when you push a game to overtime and you fight for so long, your expectations are to win, obviously. And so to lose is sad, but I think arm in arm, all of us together, we can look at each other and be proud of each other. So it's a moment of love for sure.
Seriously, think about everything this roster went through. The Fever had 6 season-ending injuries. They literally had to use hardship contracts just to keep a full rotation on the floor. And their most important player, Caitlin Clark, missed almost the entire season with injuries, limited to just 13 games. And yet, despite all that, this group never folded. They beat higher seeds. They won elimination games. They marched into Las Vegas against a fully loaded Aces squad, and they refused to back down until the very, very end. That's not the resume of a team that's still trying to find its footing. No, that's the resume of a team that just put the entire league unnoticed.
We can win. This is a 0-0 game, 5 minutes. We do those situations in practice. It took everyone. O had an incredible night tonight. People just stepped up. And I think, when we were starting that overtime, we all 5, everyone on the bench, playing or not, we believed we were going to win that game. So I think that just goes to show you that we believe in each other and in ourselves. And I'm just so proud of this group.
The core Indiana has built, that's genuinely scary. Caitlin Clark will be back healthy next season, and her ability to stretch defenses, find open shooters, and score from anywhere completely transforms the Fever's offense. Aaliyah Boston has proven she can deliver double-doubles, even when she's battling foul trouble and double teams. Kelsey Mitchell already showed she can light up the scoreboard against elite defenses, and when she's healthy, she'll step right back into that role. Plus, Lexi Hull's emergence as a defensive anchor and a real locker room leader makes her just as vital as any of her box score numbers. And when you add veterans like Sophie Cunningham coming off the bench to provide toughness and shooting, you start to realize this isn't just a fun young team. It's the beginning of a genuine powerhouse.
How much did this continue to build that foundation for what the Fever can be next year, the year after, etc.?
Yeah, it's hopefully we have a lot of the same players back. It's pro sports is another weird one where every season is different. Teams look different, but I think every new player we had this season came into the locker room and felt that connectedness and added to it. So we were really lucky that we had built such a great culture here, and that'll continue year after year.
Caitlin Clark is expected to be fully recovered heading into next season, and to put it simply, this Fever group learned how to compete at the absolute highest level without her. That's just priceless experience right there. Now imagine her slotting back into a roster that's already playoff tested, bonded by survival and hungrier than ever. The playoffs might have given Indiana some scars, but they also gave them this incredible belief. This run wasn't a fluke, it was a preview. The Fever's championship window isn't some distant dream anymore. It's starting to swing wide open right now. And that, right there, is the real storyline this whole league should be nervous about. The Fever might have been robbed of a final spot, but what they built was so much bigger than just one series. They showed heart, toughness, and the ability to challenge a dynasty, even when they were shorthanded. That identity, gritty, unafraid, relentless, that's what fans are going to rally around heading into 2026. So now it's on us. Stay vocal. Don't let the questionable officiating just fade into silence. Share what happened, keep backing this team, because their fight deserves support just as much as their wins do. The Fever's march into 2026 starts right now, and the louder the fans are, the stronger this run becomes. They are coming, stronger and hungrier. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the refs this series. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit those notifications so you don't miss anything. Check out the video on your screen, and we'll see you next time.